They're not in our purview, and they are being reviewed by relevant agencies. Jordan Lee from CB8 will explain how the public can participate in the meeting. Jordan.
David, welcome. If this is your first time joining us virtually, you will notice that you are currently muted and everyone will remain muted throughout the meeting except for the committee co-chairs, David, Anthony, and Jane, and any presenters as we move throughout the agenda. Following the presentations, the co-chairs will call on members of the public wishing to speak. You can participate by pressing the raise hand button on the bottom of your screen, not the wave or thumbs up, as those will disappear. Only press it once. If you press it a second time, your hand will go back down. If you're calling in on the phone, it is *+9 to raise your hand and *+6 to unmute. Be on the lookout for a prompt asking you to confirm unmuting once the co-chairs call on you. The chat is available for technical support only to help with Zoom software problems, not to ask questions of the co-chairs as they will not see the chats. If you're using an older version of Zoom, you may need to find the React menu, Participants menu, or button that says More, where you will find the raise hand feature in one of those. If you plan to speak during the meeting, it would help us if you would rename your device with your full first and last name. Please do not raise your actual hand or wave at the screen because we may not be able to see you. Chat me, I'm here for support.
Thank you, Jordan. First application is 700 Park Avenue, number 20A, Upper East Side Historic District, Paul Capice, Pax Architecture. A no-style building designed by Connor Jacobs, Paul Resnick, and Harry Green, and constructed in 1959. Application is to change the configuration and operation of a window. Is the architect here? Do we see him?
I have Natalie online, and I believe Natalie is unmuted, but Natalie, let me know if there's someone else that I should unmute as well.
So Natalie is going to present.
I believe so.
Natalie, your mouth is moving, but we do not hear you.
Can you guys hear me now?
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. So I will be presenting for Pax Architecture today. I'm the project architect on the project. And I think I am the only one present here today. But should I go ahead and share my screen?
Yes, please do so.
Okay. Okay. Is everybody seeing presentation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me just pull up my notes here. Okay. So our project is located at 700 Park Avenue, on corner of East 69th Street. It is located in the Upper East Side Historic District. And as mentioned, the scope of work is to change the configuration and operation of one window on the 20th floor. The window is on the facade facing 69th Street. So here we have the 1981 tax photo, as well as current photos of the Park Avenue facade and the 69th Street facade. At street level, you cannot see the setback facade where we would be doing work. This is a photo taken down the block close to 68th Street. When you look back at the building, that's when you can see the 20th floor. And this is the window that we want to replace. The current configuration of the window is one picture window flanked by two double hung windows on each side. As you can see, the primary facade is highly composed, and but at the setback, the same sort of rhythm is not followed. We have balconies and other configurations that are at the top. And then These are some more examples of buildings in the district with similar typology, with highly organized primary facades. And then at the setback that, lack that same pristine organization where the windows start changing configuration and typology. So this is a plan of the windows. So here you can see the existing window plan that consists of the picture window with 2 double hungs. And then the proposed is to change the bay on the left to a casement and then get rid of the double hung on the right and have 1 larger picture window. And this is an elevation that illustrates that. And so the proportion of the double hung window will remain. We just would like it to be a casement. And then these are just details of the window profiles in section of the existing and proposed. Same for proposed and existing plan. And then here we have a side-by-side illustration of the existing and proposed configuration of the windows. And you can see the proposed casement and picture window assembly adds more glass while it keeps the same proportions of the double hung assemblies below. And we think it's visually, it's in character and fits the aesthetics of the building. And that concludes my presentation. Open to questions.
Thank you, Medina. Thank you. Can we see if anyone from the public would like to comment?
If you are a member of the public and you'd like to ask a question or make a comment on this application, please click the raise hand button at the bottom of the screen. Otherwise, it doesn't look like there is anyone.
So we'll go to the committee.
All right, do you want to do alphabetical or reverse?
Well, for a change, I guess we should do reverse.
Okay, sounds good. All right, then we will start with Adam Wald.
Yes.
Okay, and then next up we'll do Marco.
Thank you. Provided that the proposed alteration does not conflict with the approved master window plan, if they have, the proposed intervention is acceptable for this no-style building. The proposed windows are located on the uppermost floor and are set back from the primary facade plane, which significantly reduces their visual impact from the public right-of-way. As a result, the difference between the proposed window and the existing windows typology will be minimal and effectively imperceptible in the typical street levels view. From a contextual and perceptual standpoint, the proposed alteration does not materially alter the architectural character of the building, nor does it compromise the integrity of the landscape, or the streetscape. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. All right, next up is Sean.
I don't see anything to object to here. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Miles.
The same. I see nothing to object.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, Sarah.
I have no comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Alita.
Thank you, and thank you for your presentation. Well, I guess I'll be the outlier because I do object, and I'm sorry. To me, and I know that this is not through Central Park, but there's a low building next to it, and I do think these things are somewhat visible. The photo that you have just makes it look odd to me, not as odd as if it were solely a one pane window, but still. So I'm actually going to reserve judgment and decide at the vote, but thank you.
Thank you, Alita. All right, Michelle.
Yeah, can you do me a favor and enlarge it? I really can't see the difference, which I suppose is a good thing, but I can't really see enough detail. Can you, that's better. So
Let's see.
So I'm looking at the existing,
Sorry.
has two windows flanking on either side,
Mm-hmm.
and the proposed, there's only one side
Yeah.
window? Okay.
Yeah,
I
just
see.
one
Yeah, that's
window
what I
with a
thought
big
I saw,
picture.
but it was not really clear.
Mhm.
And that side panel is now a casement rather than a clear pane? Is that what you're saying?
So this will be a casement on the left, and then the large panel would be a picture window.
And which of these moves or opens and how?
The small panel will sort of swing in as a casement window.
Swing in.
Yeah.
And how do the other windows of the building open?
So most of them are double hung where a sash goes up and down.
So the center panel or the side panel goes up and down because it's
Yeah.
double. Okay. And you said that the building has a master plan?
No, I don't know that the building, I was not informed from management that there is a master plan. What I was pointing out is that at this floor, as you can see, there's balconies that have full height windows. And so I don't think, and the same happens at 70th. So at this level of the building, having a typology that has more glass sort of bridges what's happening down here versus like the irregularity of other elements in the facade that are happening at the top, which is why we thought it wasn't like outside of character to try and, to change the configuration of this one window.
It just seems to me that the rest of the building has the original windows. It doesn't seem to me, not that we necessarily consider that, but that this change represents a significant benefit to the quality of life of the residents. I'm inclined not to approve it. I'm inclined not to approve it. I'll leave my comments at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, Gail?
Michelle asked my questions, so I have no other questions to ask. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Elizabeth?
Yes, I'm afraid I can't approve it. I think that this is not a wonderful building. And what it is, the change removes what texture this building has, and I feel that a poor building probably needs as much respect when you're making changes as a good building. So I'm afraid this is not my idea.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And then Christina?
I don't have any questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Anthony, David, Jane?
Okay, I'll go first. This is, as Marco pointed out, a no-style building. A number of years ago, I did a project on Madison in this district on a no-style building, and there was a lot of discussion back and forth. And finally, the chair of the Landmarks Commission at the time, Jennifer Rabb, said, "Wait a minute, this is a no-style building. They could tear it down and we wouldn't be able to say boo." So I think this very small change definitely does not do anything to detract from the absence of personality of this building. And I think we should approve it. I'm done. I'm not going to say anything else. You can call on Jane can speak.
Well, you can call on me next. I will approve the application. Thank you.
And I just have one question. When I look at it, it appears as if the proportion of the basement to the picture window is different from the two windows below. Is that true?
I'm not sure. I didn't measure the windows below. This was, it's meant to keep the same proportions as the windows that we have where the size of the double hung, basically this style in between the picture window and the double hung will kind of remain in place. And so we were going with what our existing window was. We didn't have access to what is happening below and see if matches those proportions or not.
I think Marco and Anthony have summed it up very well. I certainly will support it. I think it's a minuscule change in the sense of the totality of where this building sits in the district and how you view it. So I need a resolution.
Marco has his hand raised.
Resolution to approve?
And do we have a second? We have a second. Can we run the vote, please, Jordan?
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
We'll do it in reverse order. We'll be consistent.
Perfect. Okay, give me just a second to pull up the vote sheet. Got a lot of people today.
Two committees.
Okay, Elizabeth,
No.
Gail,
Yes.
Michelle,
No.
Alita,
No.
Sarah,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes.
Marco,
Yes.
I don't think, Adam,
Yes.
Christina.
Yes.
All right, this was a motion to approve and it passes. Thank you.
Anthony?
Oh, I thought I was doing number 3.
Oh, I thought you
No,
were
I'm doing number 3. Thank you.
That's fine, no problem. Okay. So our second application is 48 East 73rd Street in the Upper East Side Historic District. Daniel Kaplan is the architect. This is a neo-Georgian, originally Italianate building designed by D and J Jardine, and the present facade was designed by S. Edson Gage, Paul Resnick, and Harry Green, and constructed in 1870, 1871. With the present facade constructed in 1911. Application is for the restoration of the facade, replacing windows, removal of the unoriginal sunroom on the roof, constructing a new setback facade for the rooftop addition, interior renovation, and replacement of windows in the rear. And is the architect here?
Hello. Yes.
Yes, there you are. Okay, so
Should I present?
proceed.
Hi, nice to meet you all. I don't know if you remember me, but I presented to you about a year and a half ago for another project in the region. Actually kind of close to here. My name is Dan Kaplan, Barrowbird Architects in Brooklyn, New York. We do a fair amount of landmarks work, a lot in Brooklyn, but some on the Upper East Side. I'm going to share with you the alterations we plan to make to a building that was greatly altered multiple times, and I will get to all of that. The building's at 48 East 73rd. This is the existing front facade, if you can see that. This is the existing rear facade, although there's also a really awful rear addition that was added at some point without permits that we're going to just completely remove this rear addition. It's located approximately in the middle of the street on East 73rd between Madison and Park. There is a large apartment building at the end of the block on Park. And then there's various other buildings on the block, some of which And I believe actually all of these were originally in the 18, let's say 70s and 80s, brownstone facades, and then some were altered later. As I'm sure you know, in the Upper East Side Historic District, there was a series of neo-federal building facades added to many of these buildings on different blocks. This is a tax photo from the 40s. This is present day. And what I'd mostly like to draw attention to is these half-round windows here, unoriginal windows throughout that we're going to replace all of these windows. We're asking permission to change these half-round to fanlight windows, as the architect Gage, who redesigned in the neo-federal style, has done on multiple other townhouses in this area. In the 1970s, there was a huge alteration done to this building, the records of which we don't have in great depth, but we do know they added this sunroom. They removed a either limestone or cast stone balustrade, and they really sort of butchered the whole rooftop here. And then they added a large rooftop structure. There was sort of two rooms that were quite tall that they added, and then a sunken middle space. They also painted over what we believe to be an all limestone facade that we're going to strip the paint according to landmarks guidelines and try to restore back to the original. These are views from different angles on the street. And then these are our renderings of what we are proposing. Starting from the bottom, we're keeping all of the existing metalwork. We're going to, strip and repaint them. We'll try to bring this back to the original limestone, and working with landmarks at staff level, if we have to, we will then, if it's in very poor condition, it can't be restored to its original condition, we'll use a limestone stucco, like it's a specialty item that can really emulate limestone. Moving up the building, I'll first talk about what we're doing at the top. At the top, what we're trying to do is, if I go and show you what the original looked like, this is a sort of side-by-side comparison. This is the existing conditions of the top sort of floor and a half. There's a sunroom here that cuts back and then hits a clear story window here that has a rooftop that's roughly the same height as this. Then it has a sunken area where they have mechanical equipment. And then there's a rear addition that starts from an existing rear addition and was built up a very long time ago. This is the proposed. We just want to remove the whole front area, which is very visible and pretty awful to the street. And you can see that in red. We want to keep this part of the facade here. And then I'll go back to our rendering in a moment where you'll see we want to fill this in with brick to match the color and texture of the front facade, but not try to emulate the Flemish bond of the front, because neither we nor Landmarks feels that we'll be able to do that faithfully. Here we plan, instead of like a metal or glass guardrail that would be kind of shiny and visible from below, we want to actually make a planter out of a guardrail and allow plants to grow over the side to sort of make it blend in more and make it more naturalistic. And then none of this is visible from the street, so I was told I don't really need to cover that. Okay, and then this is a view from above of what we're trying to do. This is the existing height and location of the clear story window of the top floor. This is where the whole sunroom would be. We're cutting that all the way back to here. And then we plan to restore out of cast stone the parapets and the balustrade that was there originally. And then these are sightline studies, and then I'll go back to our renderings. From across the street and down the street, we did a mock-up of this and brought two people, the deputy and our preservationist from LPC, to look at what we did. We mocked this up to see what was visible from the street. By removing the sunroom and adding back a balustrade, there's a small window of which you could see what we will fill in at that clear story window. And this is what you currently see. So that's here. And then when this is removed, it'll go back to this line. Okay, so if I go back to our renderings, this is approximate eye level of what you would see after we restore the balustrade to its original condition. We're going to remove this downspout. We're going to restore all the original windows. And then the concept design-wise was to come up with this is the brick to emulate the color of the redder brick here. Then we thought that we could pull the dentils from this original cornice and emulate that in a corbel brick, but much more modest and drawn back. We don't want to draw great attention to it by doing this in cast stone, because we really want to read a primary facade. And then this, as it steps back from the street, we'll just read as more brick to blend in more, but still have a little sort of articulation so that it's not just a plain brick facade. Okay. Next, I want to show you the half-round windows. This is what it looks like currently. Somebody, we don't know when, probably between the 1940s and maybe in the 1970s, removed a lot of this. The original windows should have been a double casement like this. They added a spandrel beam here that's different in shape and size from what was original. And then we don't know, this appears in an old brochure of this building. We don't know exactly when this was done. But you can see it's unclear from here, was this stone or were these glass? There's just no way of knowing. But what we do know is that we've gone around the area and looked through the landmarks narratives of buildings in the area. And the architect, Edson Gage, did several buildings in the region. And we know he did this one, where he did the fanlight window with the exact same double casement windows below, with an extremely similar facade to ours, right? This has the exact same large sort of quadruple window in the middle and 3 windows across, very similar cornice, extreme similarity to our project. Here's another one done, same architect, fanlight window, another one with the fanlight windows, very similar sort of keystone and banding. And then this one is 2 buildings over from our building, not by Gage, but by another architect. But just to show you that the fanlight is extremely typical of the neighborhood and the neo-federal style. And so we are asking permission because we believe whatever this was is now a really junky piece of cast stone with horrible paint on it. They replaced these windows and then did this spandrel beam, which we don't, it was done much later. So this doesn't match the original banding, which you could see was set back pretty far into the facade, even in the 1940s. And then the backside of this is just somebody parged it and filled it in with concrete. So it's unsalvageable. And we just believe, and we asked our landmarks preservationists at staff level, and they agree with us, that it would be really lovely to fill this in with a fan light, which would be much more in keeping with the neighborhood than with this plain, what we think is cast stone half round. At this point, and then I could briefly show you the rear facade.
Please do.
I'm sorry?
Please do.
Oh, great. Okay, so here, these are existing conditions. We've gone over this at length with staff, and they have no problem with anything we're doing here. You can see they have these lintels that are much larger than the replacements that people have made over time. They really abused this rear facade. They put kind of balconies instead of true fire escapes. They filled in with a huge window here, and then we believe they filled in brick in between. And so what we're trying to do is bring some consistency to this rear facade, keeping the cast stone lintels wherever we have them, and then just enlarging glass in these rooms, but keeping a lot of the brick, and then just having a double height window on basement and first floor, just to bring a lot more light in the rear, because there's a huge building right behind us blocking so much light that we're desperately trying to get more light into our building. There's a large addition here, and there's a huge building right behind us. So that's what we're doing in the rear. I don't need to go in more depth, but if you want to ask questions about it later, you can feel free. And then we're going to remove this rear addition that somebody made in the back and just keep the side walls. Okay, so let me see how I can see you. And let me see, but I don't want to stop sharing. Let me see. I should be able. Don't they have like a side panel? Anyway, do you all want to ask me questions? Okay.
Yes, that's what we do. So first, do we see, Jordan, do we see any members of the public? I don't, but.
I don't either. Oh, actually, yes, I do. There's someone, there's a couple people. We have Lionel and
yeah.
Lo Vandervalk.
Yeah. Okay, so let's call on Lionel Brex first, and then Lo.
All right.
Yes, hello everyone. So I'm very happy. I live just across from that building at 5070 73rd Street, and I can see, and I was very happy when I saw the PDF uploaded. The only thing I would, from a personal point of view, is I just find it a little modern in the rear to have this huge type of window. I understand you're trying to get light, but I mean, there are many other stores where you can get light, and most people don't get light down there. And the most important to me is the top portion. The black and white brochure that you showed had these the roof with the 3 triangles, which I actually think looks nicer. And your presentation does look nicer than the existing horrible greenhouse they had up there. But I still think that the type of windows that you're restoring are beautiful up to the final ones, and it kind of clashes with the style. Even if it's not visible from the street, it's not public, but it's semi-visible. It's semi-public because all your neighbors will be able to see it. And it's just a clash with like the top penthouse portion is much more modern. The windows are much more modern than the other ones. And I wanted to know what the community board thought of that, and what else, and the LPC as well. That's all. But otherwise, I think it's a very good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Lionel. All right, and then we have Lo.
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear?
Yes.
Excuse me. My name is Lo Vandervalk. I'm speaking on behalf of Carnegie Hill Neighbors. Just a question on the rear. Is that a cantilever addition at the very top? Does it cantilever?
It's just a straight up, this is a rear addition that's existing, and this is a sloped roof that they did. We're not altering any part of the rear of this building other than consolidating windows so that they're the same width up and down the facade. As you can see, they jog all over the place.
Okay, I
We're making them more consistent.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say I really appreciated this presentation because you went into a great deal of detail on related buildings, and it really has imbued this application with a lot of good preservation history, and so I very much appreciated this presentation. That's all I really wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and then no other members of the public have their hand raised, Anthony.
Oh, great. Then let's go to the committee in alphabetical order this time.
Perfect. All right, then we will go ahead and start with Bill Angelos.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Next up is Elizabeth.
Well, I want to thank you tremendously for getting rid of that hideous sunroom. Or I hope that all those windows and if there's anything there, it is invisible from the public way, because I think not only is it inappropriate and ugly, I think that it diminishes the top, the top of the building, the corners up there. I think you've done a very good job with the windows, and I think this is a well thought out, true restoration of a fine, what was a fine, very fine building. And I think you've done a great job. And thank you for doing it, and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next up is Gail.
Thank you for your presentation. I agree with Elizabeth. I think it is a really thoughtful and handsome restoration, and I can certainly support your application.
Thank you so
Gail?
much.
All right, Michelle?
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation. I'm very glad to see the brick, all the brick. To me, the parapet looks a little heavy. I sort of am sympathetic to the comments of the member of the public, the neighbor. I think it is a little heavy. We don't have the dimensions of it, but that's how it looks to me. And can we see the rear, please? Yeah, so I couldn't quite hear. I see that where you have one window and a door currently on the extension, you now are going to have 3 windows, and is that a door on the bottom?
Oh, sorry. This is the roof of an extension. We can't photograph it because somebody built, I mean, this thing is literally rotting. There's pigeons living in it. But this is the parlor floor that you're looking at here. We're standing in a weird backyard, like that's 3 or 4 feet deep, at the bottom of a sloped roof of this. Oh, does this section show that? Here, I could show you.
You have a view of the extension from the rear yard?
Look, this is good to show you all. There is a building somebody built at the back of the whole building. And then we are standing on the top of this little wall here, trying to take a photo of our back facade because this monstrous addition was built. We're going to rip this whole thing down and remove it. So the windows that we're talking about are at the garden level up to the parlor floor at the rear here on that back facade. And then here, we're just putting windows. So this is what the proposed looks like. So we're basically making what was there. We're gonna put doors to the rear yard on the side of the addition. And so there's already windows in a lot of this. You see this here?
So when you remove that existing building, what will it look like when that is gone?
It's just, somebody completely demolished the back here to connect.
No, but what will the view of that extension look like? I realize it will be a rendering. You can't get a photo of the existing. But when that structure, whatever it is, when you remove it, what will go to the garden level of your rear yard? What will that look like? Do you have a rendering of that?
Yeah, we do. Hold on 1 second. Here. This is what it looks like. That's the backyard.
Okay, and that's your rear yard, and that's the existing building and your extension.
Right. So this is the garden level. We'll have a window. And these are the actual sizes of windows. We're not changing this. And then this, we're just making a larger window because this was completely destroyed when they built the rear.
So that's one window, not two.
We're making one tall window here.
What's the dimension of that window?
I don't have it on here.
And do you have a door to get out to that backyard?
Yeah, the door is on the side in the court here.
Oh, it's in the courtyard, in that little
yes
indentation.
This is a very narrow space. So the only thing we thought we would put a dining table in this space with a double height because it's very, very dark down here right now. We're completely enclosed by walls and there's a huge building behind us. So we did a double height from the parlor floor in the extension just to get some extra light down into a dining table in the back of the rear addition. And then the doors, you walk from the kitchen out the side to get to
out the side. Okay. And can you see as it goes up the building, as it goes to the other stories, what does it look like? Okay. So it's those three large windows above the rectangular window, the long rectangular window.
But, you know, just to let you know, people have filled this in over time. So these may have been large, but do you see here, they filled in brick and just completely, because this was apartments and somebody did some weird stuff. There's like a weird
That is very strange to make the windows smaller.
No, but the reason it would be clear if you saw, they made these into bathrooms. There's like a bathtub here, so they raised the bottom and they had to fit a shower, so they closed the wall. So on these levels, they filled these in with very weird 1960s.
And those fire escape things you're removing them. They're gone.
Yeah, we want to restore the whole back to look beautiful, like, you know, restore all the brick of the whole back. Yeah.
Do you have the dimensions of the windows?
Oh, you know what? Actually, I can use this. Hold on.
They're on the plans, actually.
Yeah, I can't see them. Can you read them
No,
out?
no, it's okay, Michelle. They're 4 feet 10 inches wide. Each of those windows are 410 wide. I don't know how tall they are, but
well, they vary in height.
This tool will let me do it. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Right, they vary in height.
Yeah. And you don't have a picture of how you treated the door?
18 feet tall, call it.
18. Okay. Okay. I take it you don't have a picture of how you treated the door to the rear yard.
Well, I could show you in a drawing.
Okay, that's all right.
All right. This is the side of the addition.
I see. Okay. So there's another window on that side above the door in addition to the one that's on the facing?
Correct.
There
are some windows here already, but
okay.
Yeah. You know, the idea here is, again, I'm going to just keep stressing, it's extremely
to get
dark.
light.
backyard, yeah. It's so blocked in. If I show you on this plan, on the aerial photo.
One of the concerns of you getting light is the fact that when the lights are on at night, so will your neighbors. So that's always something that we face, you know, that when the resident wants to get light and has very large windows, and in this case, many of them, that your surrounding neighbors will have light as well in the evening when the interior lights of that building is on. That's why I asked for dimensions. So, you know, 4 feet wide is a pretty big window, and all that height, it's almost continuous. So that's a little bit of concern. All right, I'll think about that. Thank you.
The one thing I should mention, by the way, is there was something approved by Landmarks in 2014, creating an entirely glass facade on the whole back of this building. So we're really trying to restrain. Listen, I do so much landmark work. I try to make it as contextual and not, you know, an affront to the neighborhood as possible. But I'm very sensitive for a client, you know, look, this is the size of this building. This is so tall, and that's our building, right? So we're right up against a gigantic apartment building with tons of windows and lights. You know, they're basically blocking almost all of the light to our building. So I'm doing whatever I can for our client to try to bring natural light in.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, next up is Alita.
Thank you. And thank you for your presentation and your attention to detail that you focused on the brick on the upper floor above the balustrade. Like that is really impressive. I have to say, I don't like those windows, that rooftop addition at all, but I realize there's nothing you can do about it. For the back, so I agree with Elizabeth and Gail on the facade and on the back. I agree with Michelle. There's some concern about light, but if it's the apartment building, and I understand the need for light. So, undecided about that, but appreciate the work, and those arched windows look really so much better. That's an understatement. Thank you.
Thank you, Alita. All right, Sarah.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. And I echo my colleagues in their appreciation for the front elevation and how beautifully that's been done. With regard to the rear elevation, there's a rear extension that already exists. I couldn't tell from the presentation materials. Um, does the does the distance from the end of the rear elevation, that rear extension, what is the distance between the rear extension and the lot line?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hold on 1 second. (21 ft 1).
Okay, and then that's also the existing distance, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we're not changing the, to be honest with you, and I know this come up a bunch of times, even with the rooftop, we're not adding anything. We're only subtracting from this building. We're not adding anything new. We are removing the rear addition, and we're removing some of the rooftop structure. Not all of it, because there's steel, and it's like, even where we're proposing our new glass, you know, with the brick and the dentals, that's all existing. We're just cladding it nicer.
okay, that's helpful. I just wanted to confirm because I couldn't tell from the presentation
Sure.
material.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Next is Miles.
Hi, thank you once more. I just had a question again in regards to the rear. For that desire to get a natural light, I may have not seen it correctly, but are there windows coming up the whole length of the building from the door side, from the side of the walls that's from the door? I couldn't tell.
There's only a few. We don't need them everywhere. This one is existing that we're just going to replace. We have doors here and then just one on the parlor floor.
Got
But
it.
the rest
Okay.
does not have them. There's an old chimney that's no longer in use, and we don't want to ruin it or anything. This is all existing. We're just going to clean the brick, but not change.
Are you going to clean out the chimney and put that back into use, or?
No.
No.
Bumped.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Miles. All right, next up is John.
Excuse me. I really appreciate the effort to restore the appearance of the facade, and I'm completely in favor of this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Next up is Kimberly.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this very detailed presentation. I appreciate all of the very lengthy or very all-encompassing notes you've gotten here. The one thing, and overall, I'm very much so in favor of this change to the building, especially that top addition on the front facade. I have one comment and then one question. My comment is, I mean, and maybe you kind of addressed this with your response to my colleague Sarah's question, but even with some of the railings that are added on the rooftop addition, that's not adding any height whatsoever. We're totally just subtracting, excuse me.
No, it's all existing. And here, look, these are photos of the roof. You see how this is the part that bumps up. This is the part that goes down. There's steel and everything. We're not changing any of this, but we are putting a planter here because we need to have a guardrail. We're making this an occupiable roof. And even if we weren't, we have to add a bulkhead no matter what. So we have to have a guardrail no matter what. It's not even a landmark thing. The DOB requires it because it's unsafe. So we have to add that. So we thought.
Sorry, can you pop down to the next page after this one?
Yeah.
So what I was.
It's not visible from the street at all.
Yeah, but if I was just curious about these railings I see going up these stairs that are kind of cut off in this view that we see here. I'm just curious if that was on top of any height. Basically, where I was going with this is that if it was an additional height, it would have been great to see mock-ups. But if I'm piecing together your comments right now and the answer you gave to my colleague Sarah, you're saying that there's no change, like it's not getting taller.
No chance you could see any of this. Not taller, yeah. And we brought the deputy commissioner of landmarks to the job, so he knows exactly these conditions.
I know, we just love a mock-up if we can put one on a roof to make sure it's not visible from the public way.
To be clear, we did it. He just said we didn't have to do that part because he agreed.
Okay.
No way. I'll show you. You know what page the mock-up?
I don't know the page number.
We have a page in here with the mock-up. But it was very hard to do a mock-up on something you're subtracting from, right?
Fair.
So we did it for them. It's in one of these. Oh, here. So this wood with red tape and then Hans.
Oh, got it. I thought that was just added in the renderings digitally.
This is what everyone's talking about. We're just leaving it, and you see it even in glass. We're just making this nicer brick and putting the dentils, but it's there already. We're just getting rid of all this ugliness and putting the balustrade.
Okay. So going back to the balustrade, actually, and maybe I'm misunderstanding the notes and the footnotes that you've added into some of the documentation. The new balustrade is going to be limestone stucco covering concrete, if I understood correctly?
We're going to do cast stone that looks exactly like limestone in those shapes because that's what we can get. And we talked to the preservationists about it. We have a couple renderings here.
My question, the reason why I'm asking about this is that if I'm understanding these diagrams correctly, that's going to be right next to existing limestone. And my concern was that over time they would weather differently and would it look strange? If you could just elaborate on that.
We have to rebuild all of this here.
Okay. So there's not going to be anything where it's like regular limestone or real limestone.
No, it's you can see here, like somebody tried replacing it with, hammered or like pebbly concrete. It's
Okay.
So
those are my questions.
It's all going to be, new cast.
All right. Those are my questions. Thank you for responding to them.
Thank you.
Overall, I think I can support this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Next up is Marco.
Thank you. The front facade, overall, the general proposal is appropriate and well conceived. The proposed redesign of the fifth floor represent a clear improvement over the existing conditions. The recreation of the stone parapet and stone balustrade, matching the original design, is a particularly strong intervention and successfully reinforces the building's historical character, even though the three original pediments are preferred. The restoration of the existing windows, included the reintroduction of the original mountains, is also appropriate and desirable. In general, the original design approach is preferred. The proposed 8/8 window design at the third and fourth floors makes a positive architectural contribution and is consistent with the overall composition of the facade. At the second floor, the replacement of the blind semicircular elements with glazing is acceptable and enhances transparency while maintaining the rhythm of the openings. The removal of the non-original concrete lintels above the windows is also appropriate. The proposal to clean, strip, sand, and repaint the existing railings in black is supported. The general cleaning of the facade is also appropriate and supported. The rear facade, the proposed brick cleaning is acceptable. The proposed windows modification and reorganization of the are also appropriate and improve both functionality and visual coherence, even though I don't like the double high window. Roof escape. The proposed roof escape interventions are acceptable. The introduction of the metal grating pad over the bulkhead is appropriate and does not negatively impact the architectural character or massing of the building. And I will support this application. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marco. All right, next up is Adam.
I think it looks great. You've clearly thought about everything from the front to the back and to the top and to the bottom, and I think it's a great addition, and I will be supportive of it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adam. All right, Christina.
Thank you for your presentation. Very extensive and thoughtful restoration. Congratulations. I can fully support it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christina. All right, Anthony, David, Jane.
Well, I'll go first. The presentation was marvelous. I can totally support the application. I don't even mind the windows in the rear. And I love the half moon windows, the lunettes in the front elevation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think as do most of my colleagues, that it's a very well done restoration. There was some concern about the cornice, but I think this building has the ability to accept that cornice. And by having the weight of that cornice, it does tend to minimize the rooftop addition. And the rooftop addition is, I think, simple and not what you're going to be looking at as you walk along the street and you enjoy what you've done with this facade. As far as the rear goes, I think that in all deference to some of my colleagues, they get over concerned about light at night. These are not security lights. These are not searchlights. I live across from buildings and they range, normally 60 feet. If you think about normal rear yards, in this case, it's going to be shallower than that. And I still think that the lighting is not an issue. And I think the way the windows have been worked in, it's simple and appropriate. I think it's extremely well done, and it has my full support.
Thank you, David. I agree completely. I think that this is a sensitive and, in fact, a modest intervention, and I think you have achieved something very nice here. And in fact, and the presentation is really very good, and you made a very good job of the presentation. So thank you. And I think we can go to a motion, a resolution.
We have Marco and Alita's hands up. Do you want me to mute?
Okay,
Both?
Marco? Yeah, that's fine.
I would like to put a motion, and the motion is to approve as presented. Is anybody can second?
Second.
Alita appears to be seconding, and
Okay.
David obviously did as
Thank
well.
you.
So let's go to a vote.
All right, give me just a second to pull up the vote sheet, get everyone unmuted.
Yep. Ya ponle nomás.
All right.
No sé por qué mierda está saliendo. Te le apagué ya.
All right, so this is a motion to approve for item 248 East 73rd Street. Bill? Oh,
No.
not
Y hay
muted.
pan, el escobo.
Ay,
Hay
Bill?
pan. Ahí está otro
Hi.
pan también.
When you called me initially, I thought we were doing a roll call, but nevertheless, it's a yes for me. And well done on the presentation, and you showing the character of the building. A yes for me.
Thank you. Elizabeth?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Alita?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Anthony?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Kimberly?
Yes.
Marco?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Christina?
Yes.
All right, passes with the unanimous approval. Thank you.
Thank you all so
Great.
much.
Thank
So
you.
we're moving along to 168 East 75th Street. We originally heard the applicant in December. It was a unanimous disapproval at that time. The applicant is to be commended for coming back to us. This is an application for a restoration of the front elevation and a two-story addition at the roof, at the rear. So is the applicant here?
Yes, I am here.
Great. Do you want to get started?
Sure. My name is Tom Felton. I'm the architect for this project at the moment. I'm going to share my screen.
And as you go through your presentation, you might explain how this differs from the December application.
Yes, absolutely. So, okay. So thanks a lot for hearing us again. We're looking forward to presenting what we've done. We've taken into account the notes that you made in the last presentation. So we made every attempt to address every single one of the items that were raised that you found were not appropriate for this work. I'm really excited about this project. I think these 5 townhouses are an important piece of New York City, the Upper East Side. I think they're beautiful examples of a group of how you can put these 2 townhouses together. So these, as you know, these were originally built in 1880 by B. Muldrawn, and then in the early 20th century, they were modified. They were originally built as 3 stories, and then they were modified. The front facades were modified, and they added garage openings into the lower level. And we believe that these were the first private automobile garages in New York City. So I think it's an important piece of the fabric of the city, and I'm really happy that you want to make sure that it's done, that any kind of work done on these is done appropriately. So the work that we're presenting is, we want to restore the front facade. This is the front facade of the building in question, and we want to restore it in a way that's going to bring back more of the history of what it originally was. So back in 2012, this is 170 right next door, and I was the architect that did the restoration and the additions on this townhouse. And this townhouse, it's a very similar project where there's 2 more stories that are added above the 4th floor, and done in a way so that they're set back far enough so that so they have no impact as you're walking down 75th Street and you look up at the buildings. These 2 additions right here, this is 172. This one, I don't know when this was done, but this one is much taller, and it's much more forward to the facade. So it has a much bigger impact, and you'll see that as we go through the photographs. I believe that this one detracts from what's on than what could have been done on the street. And then this one over here is I'm not sure when this one was done, but this one follows the same formula that we're planning for these 2 additions right here, where it slopes back so that as you're walking down the street, you don't see it over this existing parapet that's on all these facades. So this is, I think, this next slide is taken from across the street, and this is looking down onto those additions. So this right here is 170, and this is the one that Landmarks approved back in 2012. So the way it's done is there's a terrace right behind the existing parapet, and then the addition is done back far enough so as you look up from the street, you can't, and then it slopes back. You can't see this addition from the street. So that we are planning on doing the same thing on 168. This one you'll see is too far forward, and you see all this addition when you're walking down the street. But again, on 170, and this is 172, on 174, it's sloped back according to the same way that we're planning on doing the additions over here. So this is a view from walking down the street on 75th Street. So this right here is the townhouse that we're working on now. This is 170 that was done in 2012. And you can see, and this one is 172. And you can see the addition right here. So this is what we're trying to avoid when we do the addition on 168. Also as you notice, you can see it more in the next photograph. This 172 really got butchered when they did the additions on it. They changed these windows to just plate glass windows, and then they got rid of the double hungs and the transoms in the window right here. They also got rid of the garage door and put doors in here. So what we're planning to do at 168 is to bring it back to the way that it originally was. This is a back view of the townhouses. So the original build, or the buildings when they were modified in 1906, this cornice was added. And so when we did the addition on 170, we kept that cornice and then went up with brick right on top of that cornice, so that we left a little bit of the history of what was there. And also we're planning on doing the same treatment to the back facade, where we're going to restore the stucco back here, and have it match the facade that's on 170. This is a view of the existing roof. So this is where the addition is going to go. It actually has a really wonderful view of the church if you're looking to the north. So the original roof as it was built just slopes back. It's got some skylights. It has this was a light monitor that was there, so that's going to get removed. And then there'll be the parapets on the top of the party walls will be extended with the addition.
Could you give the dimensions of the addition?
We did. It's coming.
Okay. I'm just sort of confused.
Absolutely, yes.
You seem to be jumping around from the front to the roof.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let me go. Yeah, so this is just showing a location map of where, where the property is. That's the overlay extension, and that's the townhouse right there. So it's right near the corner of Lexington and 75th. There's the Sanborn maps. And so this is the addition right here is going right on top of that right there. And as you can see, all the buildings around are very tall. This is the historic photograph of what it originally looked like. And then these are the 1940 photographs. So for the addition that we're doing, actually, let me skip ahead and show you the addition since you asked. It's easy. The best way to show that is in the section. There we go. So this is the existing section. So this is 75th Street. This is the original facade. This is the original roof and parapet that comes up, and then the original 1906 addition has just a sloping roof coming back, and then that's where the stair is. So the new addition that we're proposing keeps the whole front facade, and then we're taking the roof off. The existing roof that slopes back, we're taking that off and putting a flat floor there, and then adding another floor here. And then this will be a bulkhead that gets you out to the two terraces.
I'm still
is
kind of
that helpful?
confused. No, Tom, if I may call you Tom, Mr. Fenton. You say it slopes back. Maybe you could actually give the dimensions and how much of a slope there is?
Yeah, so from the parapet, so this is the parapet right here.
Right.
It slopes back to the furthest point back, or the highest point back is 25'8", which is right here.
From the front elevation.
From the front elevation. And actually from the front, that's actually from the parapet, which slopes back about 5 feet from the front elevation.
From the
So at the
parapet, so it's
highest
really
point,
farther back. It's almost 30 feet back, or
it's
30.
about, yeah, so exactly. So from the front elevation, you're to this point, which is the highest point of the addition, you're 30 feet back.
Okay. See, that makes more sense to me if you could give the dimensions.
Sure.
Okay. So what is the footprint of the addition?
So the footprint of the addition is the whole addition is 1,300 square feet.
Okay.
So it's 850 on the 5th floor, and then I think it's about 450 on the 6th floor.
Okay. So it's really 2 floors.
Yeah, the top floor, it really is a way to just get out to the two terraces, to the front and the back.
Okay.
And which is why we're trying to make it as close to what we did at 170, which is next door, where you have a full 5th floor addition, and then you have just a small piece on the 6th floor that gets you to the outside.
Okay. Now, maybe you could then tell me that addition is how many feet wide and how many feet high?
The one on 170, or this one that we're
No,
talking
this
about?
one, your one.
This one. So the townhouse is 18 feet wide from property line to property line. So inside it's around 17 feet. So it's 17 feet wide. So on the 5th floor, it's 17 feet wide and 58, and change, so almost 59 feet long.
Okay.
And then on the that bulkhead piece that we're talking about is 30 feet wide, and then 30 feet long and 17 feet tall.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Also, as we're looking at this section here, you can see the existing house has a room that goes way back on the property, a single-story room back here. And one thing that we're doing is we're altering that and cutting out a piece of that, so that you have sort of similar to what you just saw in the previous edition. We're cutting out a piece so you have a little more outdoor area back there. you have any more questions about this section?
No, I don't. I'm sure the members of the committee will have questions though, so you can continue with your presentation.
Okay. So let's go, I'll go back a few slides. So the previous slides are just showing the floor plans.
We aren't interested in the floor plans.
Yeah.
The
Part of
interior.
this,
We're
yeah.
only interested in the exterior.
I know we're putting this together also for the landmarks preservation. They're interested in all of that. So yeah, so actually as we're looking at the floor plans, you can see on the proposed plans, this is that little cutout that we're doing in the back. So this is 75th Street. That's in the interior of the block. The original house goes all the way back almost to the property line. And so what we're proposing to do is just cut a little piece out of that to get an outdoor area. So I'll skip ahead. So this actually might help. So this is on the 5th floor. These are drawings. I think even though these are floor plans, this will help kind of maybe this will make a little more clear like what we're doing. So this right here is the front facade, and then this is the roof of the existing slate roof that's on the townhouse. Then there's going to be a very small, about 3-foot wide terrace right here, and then that's the beginning of the addition. So you're back almost 10 feet at the very beginning of the addition from the front facade. And then this encompasses most of that floor above the above the 4th floor. Then on the top bulkhead level, the stair comes up, and then it has access to a terrace here, and then access to a terrace in the back. This is what we went over this before. So there's the section. So that's the section, and this is the existing room that's in the back. So this is just a larger drawing that shows the context of where of these townhouses on 75th Street. This is that large corner building that's rough Italianate and roughly just about the same height as the townhouses now. And so what you can see is that addition won't be visible from a point on Lexington Avenue because it's so far back from the building that's right next to it. And so this is what we're proposing to do on the front facade. Again, we're using the work that was done on 170. This is a photograph of 170, which is right next door. We're going to be restoring the central window in a manner that's going to match all the details that were originally there. And then we're going to restore the slate that's on the roof, and then in the new addition, we're going to be matching the brick and putting a new brick facade in the areas where the new addition is going to be added. So
But those are aluminum windows, right? It's not, are they wood or aluminum?
We're proposing to use aluminum windows on the front facade. And we'll show you the details. So these are the front facade windows. And we're proposing to use aluminum clad windows that will match the original details. So this portion, this is actually on 168 on the facade right now. This is one of the only original windows that are still there. So we measured all the details on here, and it's an original wood window with a putty glazing on it. So these are the original profiles. So you have these are the profiles of the brick molding that goes around the window here. And then the original window is a wood window with a putty glaze. So that's what that is right there. So the new windows that we're proposing we'll have an extruded aluminum brick molding that will match the original brick molding. And then we'll match the sashes and the putty glaze with an aluminum extruded aluminum profile. And at the transom bar and the mall detail in between the two, we'll be matching all the details again with the same profile shapes that are on the original. The same thing will happen on the double hung windows. We're going to be matching all the same profiles of the original window so that it matches as closely as possible to the original. And then on the addition, which will be the windows that are set back, which you won't be able to see from the street, but just to have continuity, you know, the other people that are going to be in the apartments nearby will be able to see the addition from, you know, from higher up. We want the townhouse, we want the addition to be the same character and style and quality of the work that's done on the original facade. These are the garage doors. One of the things with the garage doors is the garage door is only 7 foot, 7.5 from the masonry opening, which is it's extremely difficult to get a modern day car into that garage door. So we're proposing to take back about 4 inches of the brick on either side of the garage door, so that we can install a larger garage door. So that would end up being about 8 foot, 3.5. And the other doors on the side, they're both going to be, we would like to expand both, at least this one, to 32 inches wide. In the back, we'll need to install a steel lintel to have the support for the whole rear facade. So this drawing shows the variation in the heights of what's on the street right now. So 172 is the tallest one, which the addition goes up to 67 feet. 174, the top of the addition is at 63 feet. So the proposal for 168 is to match that same height of that addition. And again, you're not able to see the height from the street. We are in process of putting just to let you know, the mock-up was not finished before this meeting. We were trying to get it done, but the weather was not cooperating. So the plan is to get it done in the next few days so you'll be able to see it next week. There's a rendering that shows the plan for the rear facade. You can see some of from the street on 174, there is an opening between two of the buildings where you can just get a glimpse of the very top of these additions. So that's, you know, so again, we're using 170 as a precedent for the addition, where we'll keep the original cornice and add the brick, so this brick facade will line up with the brick facade on 170. And then there'll be a railing here that matches 170. And then this portion of the bulkhead steps back about 6 feet.
I'm a little bit confused. At the 5th floor, how far does it step back?
The 5th floor is in line.
Okay. And then at the 6th floor, it steps back.
And up at this top level, it steps back, you know, and it steps back about, I believe it's 8 feet.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So because we didn't have the mock-up, but you will be able to see the mock-up very soon. What we did is we took slides from what you could see in around the neighborhood. So right here is 75th Street, right here, and then here is Lexington. So these two images are what you can see on Lexington. You won't be able to see the addition at all. And then from here and here, you can't see the addition at all. You are able to see the little red piece right there is the very top of the addition if you're down on the street way over here. But if you're at the corner, you can't, you know, because this building projects out so much farther, you're not able to see the addition at all. So that's up at if you're at the roof level, or the parapet level of the townhouses. This red portion is where that addition is going to be. So that's the addition on 174, and this is the addition on on 172, and then this is the addition on 170 right now. So from this, and this is looking from Lexington Avenue, you're not able to see the addition at all. So then what we did is we did a view is where, and you can just see where the addition, you get a glimpse of it right as you come past the corner of 75th and Lexington. So here's, and then the next slide shows, you can just kind of, we wanted to show what, where the addition is on the building. As soon as we get the mock-up photos, we'll let you know, and you'll have them there.
So that's the extent of your presentation?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Jordan, are there any members of the public present?
If you are a member of the public and you have a question or comment on this application, please press the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. Otherwise, I am not seeing anyone.
Okay, so we can go to the committee. Was it alphabetical last time or the reverse? I can't remember.
It was alphabetical last time.
Okay, so we can start in the other direction.
Sounds good. All right, first up
Thank
then is
you.
first up is Adam.
I think it's a lot to digest still. I know that the extension is aligning somewhat with the buildings further to the east. But it does seem like it's a bit much, and it would be nice to have one of these that is still preserved. So I'm still thinking about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marco?
Thank you, and I appreciate your animation. A very good effort that you try to demonstrate. The proposal should be reviewed within the broader urban and architectural context of the 5 adjacent buildings, as they share the same lot width of 18 feet. Arts and crafts architectural styles, massing, and form part of the historic automotive district. While the removal of the air conditioning unit is acceptable, the existing building condition is already satisfactory and does not warrant further intervention that would compromise the architectural integrity of this charming and cohesive development. Also, wood windows are appropriate and should be replaced in kind, no aluminum windows. One of the principal objectives of establishing a landmark district is to prevent the continued erosion of the historical fabric. The central building of this development rises approximately 67 feet and is flanked by 2 windows of two buildings approximately 46 feet in height. Allowing this vertical intrusion would undermine the core purpose of landmark designation and diminish the historical and contextual value of the overall ensemble. The facade of these buildings are in a strong architectural harmony, and the proposed alteration would disrupt the carefully balanced proportions and visual continuity of the street wall. Although contemporary design concepts are often justified as being, quote, not visible from the public realm, such arguments are not applicable in this case. This development must retain its original massing and scale to the greatest extent possible in order to preserve the architectural significance and historical character of the streetscape. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco.
Thank you.
Next up is Kimberly.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. And Mr. Felton, you definitely get brownie points from me for coming back and considering the committee's feedback. I was absent, unfortunately, though, in December. And at this point, much to echo what Adam was saying, there's a lot to take in here. I've not made a decision on this one yet, but I'm really anxious and eager to hear what my colleagues have to say. So I'm going to choose to let them ask you more questions, especially the ones who were here before.
You, Kimberly. All right, next up is John.
Excuse me, like Kimberly, I'm going to hear the comments of my colleagues and withhold my judgment.
That's good. All right, thank you. Next up is Miles.
Yeah, so for me, I think in a vacuum, an extension, an addition like this would kind of betray that character that we kind of look for. However, I think for me, it's really important to look at the fact that the three adjacent buildings have had very similar kind of renovations and additions added to them. Each of them do look distinctly different, I will say, is kind of a drawback for me. I wish there was a little more continuity with that. However, I think that having this addition would not fully betray the character, even if it's not exactly what may be perfect in my opinion.
Thank you, Miles. Okay, next up is Alita.
Thank you. And thank you for your presentation. And thank you very much for coming back. I'm having a lot of trouble with this because you're actually adding 2 floors to it, but I don't think that's 100% clear um, to me or to everyone. I think Marco, actually, if my recollection is correct, had made that point back in December. But this is not just a simple rooftop addition. And every time you say addition, it confuses me because I'm not sure if you're talking about the quote rooftop addition that people usually talk about, or the entire 2 floors that you want to add here, which seems like more than a bit much. It seems like way too much. When I look at the image on the screen right now, this is an example of more than a slippery slope. It's like an extremely icy slope of what happens when someone gets what looks like a mistake now, which is too much, is that everyone wants to match what is there, despite the impact on the neighborhood and the architecture and the feeling of the neighborhood. Historic districts, living in one seems to me, who does not live in one, to be a privilege. They're beautiful, they're preserved, they have a different kind of height and a different density and a different sensibility. And that goes with a responsibility, it seems to me, again, to preserve what's there. If you have the privilege, you should bear the responsibility. And adding 2 floors, I understand maybe a total of 16 or 18 feet of height to this in an entirely unrelated fashion, architectural fashion, just seems to be just way too much. On a smaller note, I agree with Marco that the window should be made of wood, but that becomes really de minimis compared to the overarching, to me, inappropriate height of what you're trying to do, and the lack of clarity in actually calling it a new floor and a floor on top of that, because that was really confusing the last time. It's just too much. Thank you.
Thank you, Alita. Next up is Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much for coming back. And thank you also for the excellent presentation. Very much appreciated. Too bad that part of this application is not tearing down the other rooftop additions. That would be the best part. However, we don't have that option. So let me just address this. I like the front facade very much, very happy to see those 2 extraneous windows gone. I'm okay with the windows, the what is it, 8/8 or whatever it is at the top. I'm very disheartened that they are not wood. a restoration like this that's so detailed and so comprehensive, I should think that wood windows would have been an essential part of it. I don't have any objection to the back, but I have a couple of questions. What is the total height of the building now with your proposal, including that rooftop fence or barrier, but the total height from street to the top?
Is 63.
6'3", did you say?
6'3". I'm looking for there's a slide that shows that. That shows the full addition.
63 feet. Okay.
Yeah, 63 feet. 63
okay.
feet.
Now,
Just
does that
from the street
include
to the top?
Does that include the mechanicals? Because I
No, it does
noticed in
not.
one of the slides, I saw some mechanicals on top of the roof.
Yeah, the
It does-
mechanicals will sit on top of the roof right there.
And how much height will they add?
4 feet.
So it's now
They'll be
60.
placed in the middle so that, again, for like the least amount of impact.
Okay, but the total height will then be around 67 feet with
Yes.
the mechanicals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the proportion, go back to your actual visual, your rendering, I mean, with your proposal, if you actually look at it head on, this picture is good. The addition is almost half the building. I mean, if I just to my eye. So that is of concern. So my comments would be, I think you did a great job. I'd like it to have wood windows, and I'd be very happy if it were less of a height in the addition. If you just took off that top portion, I took that down. The height of that was, well, I don't know where I put it in my notes. What's the height of the second story?
The height of the second story is you're talking up here? You're talking to the top of the sixth
the
floor?
story, the addition
The top
that's
of the
on
sixth.
top.
Yeah, so it's 63 feet to the top of the sixth floor. Are you talking about the top of the fifth floor?
No, the top of the 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you have two additions. You have one that's sitting on the existing roof that's set back about 30 feet to its reclining point. And then you have another addition on top of that. What is the height of that addition?
To the top of this point right here is 63 feet.
10 feet.
It's 21 feet.
No, that's 67 feet.
Michelle,
Oh,
Tom,
no,
excuse me, Tom.
It's 67
I think
up to
it's
here.
10. The sixth floor is 10 feet high. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's the second addition because the whole height is 67. All right. And my understanding is that top floor of 10 feet was simply access to 2 more terraces. Right?
Right.
So I would feel much more comfortable if you lobbed that off. But anyway, those are my comments. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Michelle. Next up is Gail.
I would echo what my colleagues have said. Thank you so much for returning. I certainly appreciate the fact that you came back to the committee as well as many of your changes. But when I look at the building, the addition just looks too high and too bulky. Maybe it's just the design and the height's all right, but just looking at it, it just seems like something that's large and bulky that's stuck on top of the building. And I too feel very strongly regarding replacement in kind when you have an opportunity with a building like this. So I don't think that the windows should be aluminum clad, but I would much prefer that they were wood. Thank you.
Right. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Gail. Next up is Elizabeth.
Yes, I think you've done made great improvements. I am very grateful to you for coming back with them. However, I also have a problem with the bulk on the roof.
Mhm.
And as much as I admire your restoration of the front facade, but I think you've done such a good job, and I think aluminum clad windows are inappropriate to this building and pretty well every building in an historic district.
Mhm.
And I don't really understand why you would choose to use them, and I can't support that.
Mhm.
But I think that you have made a great improvement to the front facade. So I
Mhm.
have a mixed position on this. Thank you very
Mhm.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next up is Bill.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for coming back, and thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
I just want to say that I know the building well. I walked by many, many times. It's a
Mhm.
beautiful structure that enhances the character of the block.
Mhm.
And I echo some of my colleagues has mentioned regarding the replacement in kind. I think that it's very important that we need to prevent any erosion of the building's historical integrity. So just a question, compared to the slide on the building at 174, from the street level, you're not able to see the addition to floor compared to 172. On 168, it could be the height comparable to 174. From street level, you're not able to see the addition.
It's going to be, well, actually, the thing that we're trying to match 170 because it matches the slope and the character of 170.
Okay.
So
But
that's what we're using as the precedent.
Even from
Because
170,
if you look at 170, where is it? This was what was added to 170.
okay.
So this addition right here, which is a fifth floor plus a sixth floor on top of that. So that's
So
the reason we were, and from the street, you can't see it at all.
so it would be the same for
It's
168. From the street, we're not able to see
exactly,
it.
it's we're following the same sight line. This sight line that's used right here was what was followed on 170.
Okay. So it's
So
not,
I think one issue that's happening is a lot, the drawing, when you look at the front elevation, it looks very tall. And
yes.
I agree with you. It looks, I think that it's difficult, that's why we were trying to show the three-dimensional modeling of it. Because you if you know this block well and you walk down the street, you can't see this
Yes.
addition right here
I
at
noticed
all.
that.
And this roof is the top of this bulkhead right here is about 1.5 feet lower than that one. That's all. So it's right about the same. And you also can't see this one.
Yes.
But this one is horrible
Yes.
because it's right in your face. I mean, you really see it
Yes.
when you
It is out of character. I
yeah,
noticed
and
that.
it's out of character. And you see it from the side and you see it from the front, but you can't see this addition at all. So the one
So
thing, what we're trying to, we want to stress that the facades are so important on this, to these 5 townhouses. I mean, they're beautiful, they're gorgeous facades,
yes,
and we want those restored. We want to make sure, and we want, and I hear your comments about the wood, and I think, I tend to agree with you. I'm trying to, make sure that I know the clients are concerned about maintenance and that, and making sure over time it works well. But I think that the addition, I don't think it's going to have the kind of impact that, that when you see it from here and you see it from the side, you really can't see it from the street. And, that's why we were trying to show some of these, like that. I mean, I know it looks, when you look at this, like I think there was a previous comment where this looks like it's almost half the size of the building. And I understand where you're coming from there, but I'm just trying to make the argument that it's helping to preserve these buildings.
Yes, sir. My next question is the setback on 170. How is that comparable to 168 from the front?
It
It's the same-
matches it.
It matches as well the back.
It's very similar in the back. So if you look at, I'll show you the slide of the back. So in the back, so the addition in the back, this addition on 168 is going to be exactly the same as this addition on 170.
Okay.
On the upper level, this addition here matches up with that addition right there. And it's just a foot and a half lower right there.
Okay. Well, thank you for your presentation.
Sure. Thank you.
You, Bill, Anthony, David, Jane, and also Michelle has her hand raised again.
Oh, okay. I'll go first. I have a question that is, in a way, unrelated to the landmarks issue. How does that elevator work? Does it not have an overhead?
Which one? The one
You're showing an elevator on the plan. At least it looks like an elevator.
Right. It does. You don't need as much height. So the elevator cab itself is only about 7'4", and you need about 3 feet above that. So it fits underneath the roof line.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, one of those weird residential elevators. Okay.
Right, exactly.
I have a couple of other questions. Are you maintaining the existing ridge line that runs parallel to the street?
The existing ridge line.
In other words, you've got the slate roof that has the dormer, and then it slopes back and it comes to a ridge. And is that ridge line in the same place?
Let me see. It is. Here, let me show you. You're talking about this right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. That all
Okay,
stays.
so that's going to be in the same place.
Yes.
All right, that's fine. That was really just a question. It was a little hard to tell from the drawings. I agree about the aluminum windows. I think that this building is too tall. It just sort of, at its dumbest level, it's too tall. And I think one of the things, if we look at any of the images you have of the 5 buildings together, and I said this last time, but I'm going to say it again because you weren't here last time. Okay. You see the 5 buildings together,
right?
And they form a composition as a group. And one of the things that's wonderful about the composition as it is today without your addition is that if we go 168, 70, 72, 74 to 76, 68 and 76 have more or less the same appearance and the same massing. And then the other 3 buildings mass up differently, not appropriately perhaps, but at least mass up differently. And certainly the one you did at 170 is the least objectionable of the 3. But what you're doing in 168, even if it's set back, is you're adding a mass on top of that building that is in some ways just as insensitive as the one in the center. And I think that what you're doing in the back is fine. I love the fact that you came back to us and you dropped those extra 2 little windows on either side on the second floor. I think what you're doing on the ground floor is fine. And it's too tall. I don't quite. I just can't support something this big. Thank you.
So you think that
Tom,
Yeah.
we're going to continue on. We aren't going back and forth here so much.
Okay.
So I think it's David's turn.
Yes, well, I think Anthony said a lot of it very well. I think if it were up to me, there would be no addition to this building. There wouldn't have been additions if it were up to me on all of them, because I think it's absolutely wrong. I think there are some historic buildings that can accept additions. I think it's very difficult for these to accept additions. I think 1 additional floor in the rear is okay. 2 additional floors, absolutely wrong in the rear. But overall, I think the 2 floors are wrong. And if I remember correctly, that floor that you said is just a way to get to the terraces is what, at least 26 feet long, something like that, if I remember the dimension. It's big enough to be a big room. You don't need a big room to terminate a stair to get to 2 terraces. I think that the 3 additions in the middle are terrible precedents. I'm amazed that they got through landmarks. I think that if you had come back with 1 floor, with the sloping idea that you brought to it, and handled the rear with just 1 floor, I might feel sympathetic to it. I just think you're pushing it too much. I think it's too big. And I think what would be so nice, Anthony and I think pretty much saw it the same way, 168 and 174 become bookends. And it's a shame what you have in the middle, but at least if the 2 buildings at the ends are the same, then you get this very wonderful historic composition. I simply can't support something this big. And quite frankly, I think this is very wrong for the building. So that's my judgment on it.
Thank you, David. Before I make my comments, Michelle has her hand up.
Michelle?
Yeah, I can wait until after you speak, Jane. I then just wanted to have a comment before we made a resolution.
No, why don't you speak now? I don't.
Okay. Well, what I'm feeling, I don't know what I'm sensing is that, and I may be wrong, but what I'm sensing as while most of us could live with the 1-story addition, and most of us would prefer wood windows. So I was going to propose breaking the resolution into 2 parts so that we approve the front and rear facade in part A, and we took, or as an approval, and that we had as a disapproval the 2nd floor and the aluminum windows. I really appreciate Mr. Felton coming back. I think he did a good job. I think that this house now does read because you can't see the rooftop addition. I think it does read as a bookend to the other, but it is too big with that 2nd floor. So that's why I just wanted to put that out there and give him an opportunity to have at least a partial approval, because we appreciate his effort, and he did make big and laudable changes.
Thank you, Michelle. Alita, I see all these hands up. I want to get to a resolution and I want to speak to the application, but I'm going to wait to hear from Alita and David, hopefully short comments. Alita, go ahead.
Lita?
Thank you. Yeah, I just clicked on unmute. Sorry, Jane. I just don't understand Michelle's resolution and it confuses me.
Don't
So-
worry about that.
Okay.
Say if that's what you
I
wanted to
can't
say.
accept any level rooftop at this point because we don't know what anything else would look like. So I just
Thank you. I thank you, Alita. David.
I agree with Alita, and you know where I come from. I believe that you vote on the presentation, you don't try to break it into pieces and redesign it. So I think we should have an up and down vote on this. That's good.
Okay, now I haven't spoken yet, so it's my turn to speak. And then I think we're going to go to a vote. Number one, I personally did not feel this was a great presentation, so I'm surprised to hear everybody say that. I had a very hard time understanding those drawings, the actual dimensions of the floors. I had to actually ask Mr. Fenton to go into that. The other thing is, forget about what the other houses are doing. This is an individual house within a historic district. The addition is inappropriate. We have to preserve the integrity. I don't care about the precedents at other places or what other houses have done at their rooftops. We are looking at this individual application within the historic district for context and appropriateness. Number two, I echo what all my wonderful colleagues have said about the windows. Aluminum windows are inappropriate in this kind of an arts and crafts house, and I'm sorry that the owner doesn't understand that yet. So I think David is right, Alita is right. This is going to be a single up and down disapproval, which is my sense. So I think we can go to a vote on that. I hope everyone agrees. So
Yeah.
does somebody want to introduce a resolution?
A resolution to disapprove.
Oh,
Thank
David
you.
and I simultaneously.
Is there a second? I see
Yes.
seconds, Alita, Gail, thank you. So I think we can go to a vote on this.
Sounds good. All right, let me get the vote sheet ready and then get everyone unmuted. Give me just a second.
Disapprove, yes.
Yeah. All right, so this is for item 3, 168 East 75th Street. This is a motion to disapprove. So a yes is a no. Bill?
Yes.
Elizabeth?
Yes, but I want to add is something in the resolution should appreciate the work that they have done and coming back to us, because I feel I must disapprove, but I do feel that we should acknowledge the good side.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I will include something to that effect. Thank you.
You? All right, Gail?
Yes.
Oops. Michelle?
Jane,
Abstain? Alita?
Yes.
Anthony?
Yes.
Miles?
Abstain.
David?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Kimberly?
Abstain.
Marco?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
All right, it passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any new business or old business they want to bring up? No one? I mean,
Motion
I
to
will say
adjourn.
this, I appreciate the applicant coming back. I did not think it was a great presentation. And I think we actually did the right thing, and maybe the owner will finally decide to lower the addition and put in wood windows. Alita, did you want to say something?
I do. I think that there should be something like a white paper, a letter outlining the importance of historic districts, because with the guy in the White House and the guy in Gracie Mansion coming together on the issue of zoning, I don't think that bodes well for historic districts.
Well, I agree with you on that, Alita. If you want to draft a letter, we can discuss it at our next Landmarks Committee meeting.
Okay.
As under new business, would everybody agree to that?
Sure.
Great. Anyone else want to make a comment about anything? Is there,
Motion to adjourn.
Kimberly?
Motion to adjourn.
Marco already made the motion to adjourn, but I just wanted to say it's lovely to have Adam here as a voice of preservation.
Yes, I totally agree. And we also have Bill Angelos now on the
Agreed.
committee, which is great. And of course, Miles Fink, our younger member, he's been on the committee for, I don't know, maybe 6 months now. So it's nice to have him on our committee. And we always appreciate a diversity of viewpoints, as you guys all know. So I unfortunately will not be at the full board meeting next week. I'm sorry about that. But I know that David will be happy to present my resolution.
I will be happy to.
So thank you to everyone, and I guess we can adjourn, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
I was just going to say, at this moment, I'm a voice of observation of the president.
Oh, that's cute. Thank you. Thank you.
See you all Wednesday, a week.
Yes,
You all.
Wednesday week.
Yep. See you next week. Have a good long weekend.